So I'm back home now, and today I wanted to talk about dealing with self-doubt and sort of, when things can get a bit, when things get a bit too much, and it can sort of start to feel quite negative towards myself, really, because I do suffer from that. I guess I think it's some sort of disease, but it's sort of feeling really sort of negative about yourself, feeling as though, because I do have insecurity over sort of how important I am to people, how in my sort of in sort of how I look and stuff like that, and sort of obviously then that can sort of add into self-doubt and sort of add to sort of self-pitying, and often often things can feel quite negative and feel sort of quite lost in it, but then really then it feels quite daft afterwards, because it's like, I'm so lucky to have all these friends and family and stuff like that, and it's just like, probably from maybe an outsider's perspective, it would be like, well, why are you being like that? Why are you self-doubting yourself like that? Because it can just sort of come. I mean, it's come from sort of issues in the past with bullying and stuff like that, and it's just been thing where when it creeps up, after maybe like a bad week, or things are just going wrong and it's all just piling up, it can just feel really lonely and isolating, and it's like it's really difficult even when you say to someone what's wrong, and it can feel a bit stupid to feel like that, because then they would probably think, well, you shouldn't be feeling that, because you've got all these friends, and everyone cares for you, and everyone thinks you're a really good person, and often it's hard to sort of try and think about that when you're in this sort of grasp of feeling really bad about yourself. I mean, it's got like better since being at uni. I've got more confident and independent, and stuff like that, so it's stopped it being as bad as it was, but it's sort of, it still comes back, and it still really takes hold, really, and it just I mean, trying to deal with it, I think really what you need to do is sort of, when you're in it, or maybe when you just come out of it, in order to just try and deal with it, is to sort of maybe make a list of like the positives in your life, or maybe pros and cons, and sort of think about how all the stuff you've got. Take a breath and just think, I've got these friends, these family, or I've got these colleagues, or I've got these, whatever you have, in that, and often sort of feeling quite negative about ourselves also comes from how often how you sort of compare yourself to other people, which is not really that the best thing to do, because other people might seem to be having good lives, or they might seem to have everything, or they might seem to be slaughtering out their life, and it might be an actual fact that they're just really quite good at hiding it, and or there are other problems that you just don't know about. And I do that. I do sort of like compare myself to others. Like recently when I was feeling a bit down about myself, it's like trying to work out the future at the moment, and it's just a bit of a headache with all that, and yet everyone, I mean, most people seem to be got something in mind, and I do have things in mind, but then it just seems to be every time I try and do something about it, it just seems to hit a brick wall, or it just hits another obstacle, and it just keeps on building and building. But I think obviously with that, it's just trying to sort of maybe stay positive. Hopefully, maybe this is all meant to test me. Maybe this is all meant to sort of help me become a better person, or become more relaxed and more just sort of just see how things go. Because I have become a little bit more relaxed as just how things have turned out, being a bit more spontaneous about things. But maybe I just need to be a little bit more, because often if I have an idea, I can often just go off with it, and if it involves other people, maybe not consider it as much, as them as much within it, or I just try and do too much too soon, and it's like I don't let it develop, or I don't let it grow naturally, I suppose. And it's just part of it is trying to sort of think you need to really sort of follow your heart, and at the moment my heart is sort of saying Liverpool, because it's saying, you know, you've been there for 3 years. It's been like a home from home, and it's sort of going, like, at the end of uni, going away from that is kind of, it feels like it wouldn't be the right thing. It feels like it'd be the right thing to go to Liverpool and sort of try and sort of find my way into becoming an actor. You know, I do feel that, because obviously there's quite a lot of theatres there, and there's quite a lot of stuff like that, and friends are thinking doing theatre companies and stuff like that. So it feels like it's, you know, it'd be good to go there. I mean, I know it's not all going to just, you know, magically go there. I'm just going to go to Liverpool and I'm just going to suddenly become an actor and stuff like that. And I think it's quite hard to then, you know, try and not let self-doubt get in the way of trying to do things, of trying to throw myself out there and trying to find something, maybe in the theatre, even if it is backstage or in the box office, or, you know, something like that. And it's often just, it's quite sort of a scare thing of fear of the future, because I do have the thing of, I'm bad with change. You know, I like, whenever I get into something, whether I'm used to it and I get into the routine of it, I'm just like, and then when change comes and threatens it, I'm just like, you know, no, I can't cope with it. I want to sort of run away from it quite a lot. And then obviously then I can often maybe leave things too late, or I just let things fester, and then it's like, oh well, you know, you should try and actually be more positive. You should try and be more proactive about things, and then that can feed into sort of the negativity and stuff like that. But yeah, sort of I was going back to what I was saying earlier about, it is trying to be positive. I mean, I know that's quite an easy thing to say, and, you know, quite a lot of people do say that, but it is really, at the end of the day, just sort of trying to think, okay, this bad thing has happened, brush that aside, get something else done. Something else bad comes along, brush it aside. And yes, I am probably, in the future, again, things are probably going to build up, and I am going to feel, you know, self-conscious and self-doubt again. You know, that's probably sort of thing that everyone experiences, you know, at some point, because it's sort of probably the part of the natural sort of process of emotions and stuff like that. But I'd hope maybe, you know, next time it happens, I can try and not go so deep into it, or just try and be able to pull myself out more easily than just thinking, oh, everything's going to pot. I'll just sit here and cry, basically. So it can be a hard thing to get out of, and trying to actually combat it and not run away from it, but sort of deal with it. It can be quite a hard thing to do, and I do want to become better at it. I do want to feel more comfortable with myself. You know, feel like I can be the good person that everyone sees me as. You know, I can sort of live up to people's expectations, and I do try and sort of learn to love myself. You know, because often I can blame myself for things, and it's not that. I mean, that's not a good thing to do at all. Trying to sort of blame everything on yourself, and just trying to take everything on, basically. And it's just, I just need to learn to be more positive, and just to basically accept myself more,